My name is Jordan Molnar. I'm a traditional Native American storyteller. I've really been storytelling my entire life. It started because my grandfather and my great-great-grandfather were very big on telling stories. It's a cultural thing. It's definitely part of that, but it also just comes with the fact that they came over here from Oklahoma during the Great Depression and kind of carried not only our cultural traditions but also our family history over. I come from sort of an interesting background where my mother's Native American and my father is not at all, but he's actually an anthropologist in the field of archaeology. My entire life, from both sides, I had my family telling me how important it was that I got in touch with my culture and, preserved traditions, and where my dad's the academic side and is very much about, documenting things, having them written down and recorded and everything. My mom is the side that's very much about just keep doing it. As an art form, I think that storytelling is a lot more than just repeating words that have been said over and over again. While there is power in that, I think there's a different cadence to storytelling when you're talking. There's a way that you tell a story that brings it to life. One of the things that I always say to people when I'm telling stories is that every story I am telling is true because I'm telling it. It doesn't mean that it's factual. Everything that I say happened in the story may not have happened at a historical point in time, but the story and the heart of it is a true story. Sometimes I think I'm complimenting myself too much when I say this, but I think I fall into the trickster sort of storytelling trope. Actually, a lot of the Cherokee, our trickster is the rabbit. If you've ever heard of the Brer Rabbit tales and stuff like that, those stories actually, they were slave tales, and they developed from originally Cherokee trickster stories. There's a lot of interesting history there with the Cherokee people taking in slaves after they were freed but still not allowed citizenship, and so those stories kind of blended. And I just always loved those stories since I was a kid, so when I tell stories, those are the types of stories that I like to tell. One of the things that I like about Native storytelling as far as a technique goes is that every time you tell the story, even if it's the same person telling the same story over and over again, it can kind of change. So things can be added to it or taken away, and the different voices, that's definitely a technique that I try to employ, especially when I'm telling stories to children, because they like that. It gets them in the moment. Storytelling is such a personal thing and such a cultural thing for me that while I am telling stories that aren't about me, I've had to learn to be confident and to be myself in front of people and to use my voice to talk about what's important to me in front of small crowds and large crowds, and really just, talking in a way that makes people want to listen to you. I think collaboration is great. There's this movement right now called imagining indigenous futurisms, where I'm just we could make an awesome comic book or some sort of video game or something like that, and the projects just never quite come together because everyone's got their own thing, and everyone's sort of I've got these projects that I care about that I'm working on, and they're really excited to get other people involved, but then when people get together and each of them has their own idea about a project they want to do, it's sometimes hard to be no, we're both really excited about this one thing that we can do together. As much as I love the oral tradition of storytelling and stuff like that, I think there are so many different mediums that could make some traditional stories really cool and help educate people about Native culture and kind of get it more out there.